Recent trends, global poverty.
Can you please tell where does India stand against the rest of the world considering global poverty?
Poverty is most often measured in monetary terms, captured by levels of income or consumption per capita or per household. The commitment made in the Millennium Development Goals to eradicate absolute poverty by halving the number of people living on less than 1.25 US dollars a day represents the most publicized example of an income-focused approach to poverty. Based on this measure, the last 20 years have seen significant reductions in the depth and severity of extreme poverty in the developing world. In absolute terms, extreme income poverty has fallen substantially, with the number of people living on less than 1.25 US dollars a day having declined from a high of 1.9 billion in 1981 to a low of 1.4 billion in 2005. In relative terms, the proportion of people living in extreme poverty dropped from 52 to 25.7% during this period. The Human Development Report 2010 measured poverty in terms of a new parameter, namely Multidimensional Poverty Index (MPI), which replaced the Human Poverty Index (HPI) used since 1997. If we compare from the World Bank's 1.25 US dollars benchmark, poverty headcount ratio in India is 42%. If we compare with MPI, the poverty ratio in India is 55%. From the development perspective, these numbers are severe and cannot be ignored, as they are putting India into the category of highly undeveloped countries like Nigeria, Ethiopia, Tanzania, and Uzbekistan. One interesting observation is that China, the most populated country in the world, with poverty ratios of 12% and 16% as per World Bank and MPI estimates respectively, is doing far better than India, 55% and 42% in eradicating poverty. Now, let's look at the geographical spread of global poverty. A quick glance of the pie chart can tell us that South Asia is home to the largest number of people living in multidimensional poverty, that is 51%, followed by Sub-Saharan Africa, that is 28%. 8 Indian states with poverty as acute as the 26 poorest African countries are home to 421 million multidimensional poor people, more than the 410 million people living in those African countries combined. Thus, the MPI starkly exposes the intensity and incidence of multidimensional poverty in South Asia. In most of East Asia and the Pacific, including China and Thailand, rates of multidimensional poverty are relatively low at 15%. In Latin America and the Caribbean, multidimensional poverty affects from 2% of the population in Uruguay to 57% in Haiti. The overall contribution of this region is just 3% to the total poverty.